The information provided here is not legal advice and does not purport to be a substitute for advice of counsel on any specific matter. For legal advice, you should always consult with an attorney concerning your specific situation.
Hey guys, and welcome to another video of Associate Tribe. In the last video, we talked about how to go about studying for a law school exam all the way until the exam period, and this video picks up where that one left off. So talking about studying within the exam period and also how to take a law school exam. Rest assured, this does not count as procrastinating. This is very valuable information that will help you on your exams, and you're about to start learning it right now. First thing you're going to want to do going into that 2-week exam study period is to make an exam studying calendar. And it's exactly what it sounds like. You're going to designate specific classes that you're studying for on designated days. And the best way to do this is to back out of it. So assuming that you have 5 exams in the study period, you're going to put the exam on every day where you're actually taking one. And then the day before that, you're going to designate as a study day for that exam. And then if you're talking about the 2-week period, you're going to take another day and designate it for each of your classes. So that's going to get you to 15 days total. And my recommendation is to never designate 2 consecutive days to the same subject matter, because you're going to get burnt out studying, for example, crim law for 48 hours. And then if you're really on the ball, I would also recommend tacking on an additional week to that exam study period to give you, in the case of 5 exams, another additional study day for each of your exams. That'll get you to 20 days. During these study days, what you're going to be doing is drafting, editing, rewriting, and getting familiar with your canned answers. At this point, your outline should be finished and you should be solely working on canned answers. And if you don't know what canned answers are, check out the previous video on how to study for law school, because we talk about what should be in them, how long they should be, what they are in fact. And so your canned answers at this point are going to have the most vital information of each point of law. It's going to be the best distillation of information down to this point. And it's so very important to be working on these and reviewing these and getting comfortable with these, because canned answers are going to be your best ally going into the exam. And so after you've written them, go ahead and print them out and get familiar with the pages and where the information falls on those pages. Take a pencil and make notes, underlines. Really make it a tool for you to use in the exam so that you can quickly flip to where you need to be. You know generally where the information is falling. At this very last stage, when you have your canned answers printed out, this is when I would say go ahead and tab the pages if you want to. A lot of people get really tab happy early on, but if you decide to change something or add something, that's going to change the order and the layout of your pages, and then all your tabbing is going to be a waste of time. And so generally people tab to procrastinate, so try to save it to the very end when it's actually going to be useful for you. And I would absolutely recommend using your exam study time this way, even if it's a closed book exam, because remember, canned answers aren't just a great tool to use in the exam. They absolutely are, but it's also another time for your brain to be synthesizing the information, getting it down to its core, and really remembering what everything was that you went over in the semester. Third, exam day logistics. Now, obviously, you're going to want to get a good night's sleep. You're going to want to eat a hearty breakfast, especially if you're someone who tends to get hungry every 20 minutes. And don't talk to anyone about the exam that morning. In fact, if you can help it, don't talk to anyone about anything, because the last thing you want to do is to hear news about another part of your life that distracts your focus. The goal of exam day is to remain centered and focused and calm. And so try not to talk to anyone if you can avoid it. Along those same lines, bring earbuds, headphones to the exam, so that when you walk into the exam room and you're going to be with all the other law schoolers, you can just zone out and you don't have to hear the questions and the nervous energy and the freakouts. You can just remain centered and focused, preparing yourself to take that exam. Always, always, always bring your laptop and a charging cable. Don't forget the charging cable. But seriously, make sure that you are taking all of your exams on a laptop and not handwritten, because the faster you can type, the faster you can get words on the page, the more points you can get. And there's no way that you can keep up with a handwritten exam at the speed that people are going to be typing. Last bit of exam preparation is once you are given that exam and you are given permission to look at it, go ahead and flip all the way to the back so you can see how many total questions there are, so that you don't fall into the same situation I was in with my first semester property exam, where I spent 2 hours and 45 minutes on questions 1 and 2, only to discover with 15 minutes left that there was in fact a question number 3. So go ahead, flip through the entire thing so you can get a feel for how long the exam is, how long it's going to take you to get to the end. So you've just heard begin, and you're about to start taking your law school exam. here's what you do. First, go to the question, see what they're asking about. Are they talking about landlord-tenant law? Are they talking about negligence? Are they talking about personal jurisdiction? Figure out what the call of the question is, then go back to the top, read through the fact pattern as you go, making notes about facts that you think are relevant, types of law that are being triggered. When you go to write your answer on your laptop, you're going to apply IRAC. IRAC? IRAC. Issue, rule, analysis, conclusion. Issue, rule, analysis, conclusion. Very basic, but also very effective. It works, so use it. And right off the bat, here's where your canned answers come in. So the issue is blank. The rule of law is blank. That you can write verbatim from your canned answers if you happen to have a canned answer that applies specifically to that question. You're already getting automatic points while also giving your brain 20 to 30 seconds to process what's going on, to get reconnected to that type of law, to remember that class, to remember how it's applied. Then you're going to go into the most important part of your answer, the analysis. This is going to be 95% of the points that you get on your exam is the analysis. And the most important thing to remember in the analysis section is that there is no right answer. So don't automatically jump to, oh, defendant is definitely liable, or plaintiff definitely doesn't have a claim. Because in the analysis, you're going to get the most amount of points by looking at the issue from both sides. So instead, you're going to say, plaintiff will argue blah, 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 blah. Defendant will argue blah, 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 blah. And as you go to those two different parties, those two different sides, you're going to be applying the facts in the fact pattern to the rules of law. And there are definitely going to be multiple rules being applied in a single fact pattern. So you're going to sort of have mini IRACs going through your exam answer. The issue might always be the same, but you're going to be applying a rule, and then plaintiff will argue, defendant will argue, and then a rule, and then plaintiff will argue, defendant will argue, as you apply all those really juicy facts. And of course, the most important part of this analysis section is applying the applicable facts to the applicable rules of law. But if you find yourself having extra time at the end, I would go ahead and scan back through the fact pattern, scan back through your canned answers, and see if there are any rules of law, statutes, methodologies that you can discount. For example, the Johnson Doctrine states that blah, 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 blah. It doesn't apply here because XYZ fact. And you can actually get points for doing that, for discounting non-applicable theories. Now, I wouldn't spend all of your time doing that because you probably are going to be getting less points than you would for what the professor wanted you to talk about, but I would definitely throw that stuff in there if you have extra time. And then the conclusion, the answer to the law school exam question, is actually the least important because the professor made the fact pattern so that you could argue both sides. So go ahead and pick an answer, say who you think is going to win and why, but again, don't stress about being right because that's not the point of the law school exam. After you take your law school exam, never, 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 never talk about it with anyone. Don't do it. It's going to be so tempting, but do not do it. The only thing that can come out of it is negative repercussions. Somebody's going to mention something that they put on the exam that you didn't, and you're going to get inside your head, even though that person could be totally wrong, or you might have missed that one point of law, but you still got the highest grade in class. You just never know. What's done is done. It's over. The only thing that can come from talking about an exam is getting inside your head, getting worried, and losing confidence going into the next exam, or making the 3-month period of time before you know your grades absolutely miserable. So don't do it. Don't do that to yourself. Put on your headphones, get out of that room, get off campus, don't talk to anyone. That's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. I hope this gave you a little bit of a break from actually studying for law school exams. And if you're interested more generally in law school, the law firm world, being a lawyer, go ahead and click subscribe, click on the bell, and you will get a notification every time we release a new video, and you can keep following all of this wonderful, wonderful content. So I hope that this was great help, and I will see you guys in the next video.